Alright guys, let's do a video on floor 40 again, which is definitely I feel like the first floor in the Illusory Tower where it actually start getting hard, because from this stage onwards you actually get those crazy scenes where the enemy gets so much stronger after 40 turns, so you can't even store it that often. Now this floor previously I tried to clear with Nobara, but very difficult, and I kind of concluded you have to get a black flash, and the RNG required for that is just too ridiculous, which is why previously I recommended to only beat it through when you actually have Team Gojo. Now what has changed since then is that they have released Gakuganji, which is actually a debuffer for curse technique attack. And if you have already watched my video on how to maximize damage, you would know in order to maximize the amount of damage, ideally you want someone to increase your curse energy attack, you want someone to increase your damage dealt, and also someone to debuff enemies curse technique received as well. So that's kind of why before Gakuganji was in the game, you either have to use a blue ghetto in the slot or use incomplete domain Megumi, who have like 300% debuff, which is like ridiculously high in order to compensate for the lack of damage Nobara is able to do. However, since they have actually added in Gakuganji, now there's actually a free-to-play option for other people to also use this strategy as well. So that's kind of what I'm going to showcase this strategy on how to beat it with Nobara. Now the strategy is still very similar to the one using Team Gojo, and basically the idea here is that you want your Toge to die very quickly in order to bring out your Green Momo. And the reason why Toge needs to be in is because you actually want to use his skill 2, one to reduce the damage you'll be taken, but more important to increase your ultimate energy fast enough so that with a combination of Unity and also this non-standard Nobara, you're actually able to ult on turn 4, and this basically allows you to have a good chance of killing off Jogo in just 4 turns. Now you will see later on, for me, that wasn't enough because my Nobara is only 2 dupes, and also my skill level is only, ultimate is only level 9. So theoretically, if you actually max this out, or if your Nobara is actually a higher dupe, you can probably kill off with a crit on your ultimate attack on turn 4. For me, it wasn't enough, so I needed a bit more RNG ensuring your my Nobara didn't die and actually finish off the enemy with her skill 3 afterwards. So that's kind of why you will see me only kill off the enemy, I think on turn 5 or maybe turn 6, I can't remember now. But basically that is the bulk of the strategy. So what you need to do here is basically ask Toge to do one skill 2 to increase your whole team's ultimate energy, and then you kind of want Toge to either die on turn 1 or turn 2, and as soon as that die, your Momo can then come in, and as long as Momo comes in on turn 3, you will then be able to give 2 buff to your Nobara. Now one thing you have to make sure on Nobara is that if you actually take a look at Momo's skill 2, you will realize is that you would be applying damage dealt one time in 2 turns. So basically what that means is that let's say your Momo coming on turn 3 and you apply this, you cannot use your Nobara to actually attack on turn 3, because if Nobara actually attack on turn 3, then you will be wasting this damage dealt buff. So you don't want to do that, and that's kind of why if you actually take a look at my skill rotation in my gameplay, you realize I was basically using start off with Nobara skill 2, right? This is just a buff. Then I'll put in one nail stack on Jogo, and then on turn 3 I'll be going back to using skill 2 again. And because turn 3 is when Momo will be giving you buff, the fact that I am using buffing attack on Nobara rather than an actual damage itself means that I'm able to preserve Momo's buff for the next turn. And that's kind of why then on turn 4 I'm actually able to do that huge amount of damage with her ultimate attack. So that's basically the main thing you have to watch out for here. In terms of the attacks on other characters, you will basically be using Yaga to buff for the whole 4 turns. Now Gakuganji, because his debuff takes a bit more curse energy, you will only be able to do that 3 times, which is absolutely fine. And the only reason why my Yaga is able to do this 4 times but 4 times is because I'll have this reflection on Toge, which basically when Toge actually dies, I'm able to increase Tenka's energy for all of the allies apart from himself. So that's basically why it's very important for Toge to be equipped with this as well. And the other thing you have to bear in mind with Toge is that you can actually activate this in order to basically yeah, you can actually activate this to delete your own HP. So what I actually recommend to do is that on the first turn, do not actually activate this in case the enemy are all ganging up on Toge. You don't want Toge to die straight away on turn 1. However, on turn 2, if none of the enemy actually end up attacking Toge and Toge is like at almost full health, then what you can do is actually activate this recollection to delete a bit of your HP to help to ensure Toge actually dies by turn 2. So that's basically my recommendation for what skills to use every single turn.